Hi there, welcome back. So I saw this video over on Lau's channel at Ken Chan Crafts. I thought I would respond with a video. He did mention, he'd like to see everybody's responses to these questions. So I thought I would do a video to answer mine. And we'll just get right in. You can go follow him. I have his Instagram and his YouTube channel linked down below, so go give him a follow. Alright, so let me get out my pens so I can answer these. I'm going to use a different pen for each question, I think. We'll start out with my currently inked pens from this month, and then I have some rollovers from last month to use if I choose to do so. So, alright. So this is 20 preferences of fountain pens. Number 1, flat top or cigar shape. A lot of these are going to be sort of, I want to give an answer, but I think I'll probably base it more off of what I use most, because I feel like that's probably going to be my preference, right? So flat top or cigar shape, I do like the cigar shape better. I do find that shape to be more appealing, although if you look at like my currently inked, most are sort of flat top or a little bit of a dome shape with these two, but the rest are pretty flat. So I still do prefer, I like the shape of the cigar shaped pens. So I think that would probably be my preference if I were, just looking specifically on shape to buy a pen. All right, number 2. Again, this is kind of what I have more of is probably gold, just because that tends to be what's available when I buy them. But I do actually prefer the look of silver trim. I do have the rose gold in several pens. The rainbow is also a nice trim color. Ruthenium, the black trim, is up there. Actually, gold is my least favorite. I would prefer any other color to gold. I don't really care for gold trim. I never have. I don't like gold jewelry, not the color gold, but the more champagne gold I think is very beautiful. But I just don't like the yellowy, like this gold is not my favorite. Like that bright yellowy gold is just not something that I think it works well with, especially like this color pen. I think it looks really nice with, but it's just not something I gravitate towards, though I do have probably more gold trim than anything else. So I'm going to say silver. I feel like I prefer probably rose gold, but I don't think that it goes with every pen. Number 3, posted or unposted. This one's super easy for me. I do not like to post any of my pens, and the only pens that I post are the ones that are too short. Kavecos, now the Niblet, the Bennu Pixie. Those small pens I have to post. I do post my Pro Gear Slims, but I tend to not post my Pro Gears. Sometimes I do when I'm not thinking about it. I think I just posted that one when I wrote with it, but I don't usually. So unposted is my preference. And again, the next one, really no thought at all in my answer to cartridge converter or internal fillers. Funny enough that I'm using an internal filler to answer this question, but I do not prefer them. I prefer cartridge converter. I like a pen that I can take completely apart and clean it out super easy. So we're gonna go with cartridge converter. I do not like cleaning piston fill pens. The Twisbies, I can kind of, well, I mean, I can take it all the way apart, so these don't bother me so much, but I do have a few that are just piston fills, and I've noticed that I do not gravitate toward those pens. I don't like to use them, and I don't necessarily try to buy them. I actually try to buy something with the cartridge converter. I just think they're easier to clean, so I am kind of finding that out about myself, that I'm just not, I don't much care for internal fillers at all. Bottled ink or samples, number 5. I feel like there's like this could be both, but I was really trying to just get samples for a while and not buy bottles because I don't use a full converter of ink very, very rarely. I mean, that's why I have swapped to the little Kaweco converters. I put these in all of my pens that will accept a standard international standard converter because they don't hold as much ink and I tend to not use a full fill. So I like the smaller converters. So I was trying to just do samples, and every time I buy a sample that I even remotely like, I buy a bottle. So I feel like maybe I shouldn't buy samples because I'm going to end up with the bottle anyway if I even sort of like it. So I'm trying to not buy as many samples, which has in turn led me to not buy as many bottles, at least here recently. I'm doing pretty good about staying away from. I did pick up a few samples over at Venice when I placed my last order. But I'm trying real hard. But I do prefer bottled ink just because I like to be able to share. I think that's ultimately why I want to know that I have enough should I absolutely fall in love with that bottle, that I have enough forever, but that I can also share it because I have found some gorgeous inks that I just absolutely love sharing. So I think bottled ink would be my answer. All right, next up, number 6. Subtle or flashy? I think if you've been here, you probably know the answer to this. I love my sparkles. I want pens to look flashy and beautiful and all the things fun. I do take my pens to work with me. Fortunately, I run my office, so I don't really care what people think. If they walk in and I'm using some bright, flashy, hot pink pen, I don't care. But I think if I were you know, I mean, not that my job isn't professional, it is, but if I were in more of like a corporate, like if I had to go to my corporate office, I'm not going to take these pens with me. I would take probably, I mean, like I would still take a fountain pen, but I could take, you know, something. It is still a little flashy because it's pink, but it is more subdued. It doesn't have sparkles and things like that. But I am a flashy girl. Super flashy. I do enjoy a good sparkle pen and sparkle ink. Although, I mean, this one's kind of subdued. It's very subtle, but it's still classic and beautiful. But it does have sparkles, so it's just not super noticeable. Ink window or no ink window? I feel like this is more of a piston filler type. If I'm using a piston filler, I want an ink window, but I do not prefer to buy those. I only have a few. So ink window or no really doesn't matter to me because all of mine are cartridge. Most of mine are cartridge, and I can just unscrew and see what, you know, what ink I have left. I think this one's about, it's coated in there, but yeah, it's about gone. I don't have a lot left, but I mean, I like being able to look at my ink if the need arose. So I'm gonna go with no ink window just because I don't tend to buy those pens. But if I have a piston filler, I do like to have an ink window, so you know. Twist cap or snap cap? Number 8. This is a hard one because I do prefer a snap cap. So most of my pens are screw cap, right? So that takes time. And when you want to write, you want to write. So this is a snap cap. So just pops on and pops off. Very nice, quick, beautiful pen. I like that, but I feel like the fidgety side of me enjoys this taking of the pen off. So if I'm just enjoying my fountain pens, I like the twist cap. If I'm at work and I need a pen like quick like that, I want it to be a pop top or a magnetic. The magnetics are so, I have one right here. These are so like satisfying to open a magnetic cap. I love this pen. And this is a pen that I take to work. So it's a kit pen that was made by Myers Pen Co. But that is just so satisfying. And I love this pen. It is just a roller ball. Beautiful. This one I do post because I feel like it balances the weight out a little bit. Without the cap, I can write with it just fine. But without the cap, I feel like it's maybe a little light. But I love the magnetic is so satisfying on that. So I do like this for, what would you, like quick draw, I guess. Same with the snap. I would prefer this in my planner and for just like a grab and go pen. But if I'm just enjoying my fountain pens, I like the twist cap. So I'm going to go with twist cap on that. All right, number 9, gold nibs or steel nibs? This one's also just kind of it's a tough one because I have more steel nibs and I love that I can just grab it and go and not really think about it. They tend to be cheaper pens. That's not to say that they are 100%, because I do have some pens that are pricey that are steel nibs. And I've also been converting some of my steel nibs to gold nibs, swapping out some sailor nibs, which I'm enjoying. But so I have more steel nibs than I have gold nibs, but enjoying the writing experience, I do prefer a gold nib. And that's just been recent, because I've always loved picking up my just steel nibs. They're fun and they're easy and they're cheap, and I can have them ground into whatever I want to, which you can with gold nibs too, but I think I would be a little more hesitant to grind a gold nib, because if I didn't like the grind, I would be upset. So I'm going to go gold nibs, because I do prefer the writing experience with a gold nib. And that actually surprises me a little bit, because I love my Yovo nibs. They're super nice and super easy to write with and so fun. And I have grinds, but I do prefer the gold nibs to write with. All right, number 10, basic nib grinds or special custom grinds. I am going to go with basic nib grinds on this, just for one reason, really. They're easily replaceable. Oh, you can't even see my, there we go. Sorry. They're easily replaceable. And not to say that you can't replace the custom grind. You can. But to me, going to a pen show is kind of necessary if I'm replacing a custom grind. So I had a scythe grind done at the Atlanta Pen Show on my TWSBI Mini. I wish I had had that done on a Yovo nib, because I can't really use it on any other pen. I don't have any other minis. So I thought, well, I'll get another scythe grind when I order my matcha, my eco matcha, because I have tons of ecos and I can swap those nibs out. I don't care. I got it and it's not the same. And it's because of my grip. I am 100% sure about that. So I'm going to have to get Kirk to look at it in Atlanta next year, because I'm not going to another pen show until next April. We're in August. So, and I mean, I've had the pen for what, a month or two? I don't even know at this point. And it feels scratchy when I write with it. So it's just, I'm missing that sweet spot with that grind. And so not having that availability to get him to look at it, you know, right here it's a little bit frustrating, I guess. So that's why I'm going to go with basic, because I can kind of tune those myself if they're scratchy, or if they have, which I guess I could that one too, but I don't want to risk messing it up, so I'm not going to. I paid too much money. Plus, you know, it's what, $60 for the grind. I paid $30 for the pen. I'm not going to mess that up, you know. I'm not going to have another one ground. But I think going forward, I will have Yovo nibs ground. That way I can use them on any pen. And I did get the monoline on a Yovo, which I love. But I think the rest of the grinds that I'm going to do are just going to be standard Yovo nibs. And that way they're not, you know, I don't want to get it on a specific pen or a specific nib. So I am going to go with basic on this. I love my custom grinds, but replacing them is pricey. And if you order them, they don't always work for your grip. And that's, I mean, that's a me problem. That's not, I did tell him my grip, but it's still, he had to adjust it a little bit when we were there after he ground it. So, yeah, I think I think I would have to go with basic on that. All right, planner or journaler? I am more of a planner girl, but I have been journaling a lot more this year. I've been a planner girl since, well, I've been a planner girl forever, but I mean, I have always had some sort of planner with me. But planner community wise, like finding all of this, I've been a planner since like 2015, 2014. But over the years, I have developed journaling, and I'm doing some different fun journaling things now. So I'm going to go with both on this because I'm both. I do both. I mainly am a planner, but I'm both. All right, we're up to what, number 12? Old Motor River paper or Sanson. My preference is always going to be the old TRP. That paper was just beautiful. It had really no issues. I mean, you would see ghosting, but I actually like ghosting. I like the crinkle of the paper. Sanson hits some of that. The crinkle is there. You can see the ghosting. It's nice. But the feel of writing on that paper is different. I would say anything really pre-2024 that was TRP was pretty much good. Nice to write on. But I do prefer the OG, the old TRP. And I don't think that'll ever change. Old Motor River paper. All right, soft or stiff gold nibs. Now this, I guess I didn't really understand soft versus stiff until, is it my Pelican? I think that has a softer nib. It just feels, you have that little bit of give. So when you write, I try to write really light-handed, but I don't. I mean, anybody that has been using ballpoint pens their entire life is going to have a harder time, you know, just adjusting to. Now, I would say people who come from other countries where they use fountain pens in school, they probably wouldn't have, you know, the same issues for the most part. But you're going to have an adjustment period. And I've been using fountain pens for a long time. And I still find myself gripping the pen harder and pushing harder than I need to. So it's, you know, it's just like a learning curve that you have. But when I wrote with, I think it is my, let me see, because I actually think I still have it inked up. Maybe it's just that it's such a big old nib. I don't know. But maybe this isn't even a soft nib. I don't know, because I don't really know that much about gold nibs. I've only recently, in the past, aside from like the Vanishing Point nibs, those I've had for years. But they're kind of not soft, I don't feel like. But my Pelican M800, I don't know. Maybe it's not a soft nib. Maybe it is. I don't know. Let me... But when I write with this, I don't have those tendencies to like death grip and push hard, and I just feel like you get like a little bit of a bounce to it. So I feel like this is probably like a softer. My 14 karat Sailor pens, those things feel like needles. They're real hard and they don't have much give, I don't feel. So I would say that I enjoy this if it's a soft nib. And I think it is. Because I feel like those other nibs are just real, but it may be because they're like super fine and this one's really broad. So that's why I'm not sure about this one. I'm going to go with soft. Because I don't know. I feel like this is a softer nib. It feels softer. This is number 14. Shade, sheen, or shimmer. So this, the answer to this has changed. Because I used to love sheening inks. Sheening were my favorite. I would buy them over anything else when I first started out because they were so interesting to me. Shimmer was not really something I wanted to deal with. I worked with kids all day and every day, and glitter is the bane of my existence at the point of I just didn't want it everywhere. And shade, I was just like, okay, so back then I only wrote with extra fine nibs. And so seeing the shading was not really something that I came across a whole lot. All of my pens were super extra fine, mostly like even needlepoint. I have a couple of grinds that are like ultra extra fine. And so, yeah, I very much enjoyed my super tiny fine nibs. But since that has changed, my views on this have also changed. So shimmer inks don't bother me anymore. I love my shimmer inks. I don't really care to clean them out. They're not my favorite for that, but I don't mind them and I do use them whenever I get a chance. I enjoy shimmer ink. Sheening ink, I really don't like anymore. And maybe that's because I'm using larger nibs, because now the sheen overtakes the color 9 times out of 10. All of these sheening inks that I have, when I write with them, all I see is the sheen. I don't see the initial color of the ink, which kind of disappoints me a lot. So maybe that's something that I should look into about doing an experimentation on that and pull out some of my really extra fine nibs and ink up like a broad nib and an extra fine and see how I feel about that writing experience. Because sheening now, if I know an ink sheens, I tend to not buy it. So shading is really my favorite now in broader nibs, although this one does have shimmer in it, so we're going to use it. But shading inks are my favorite now, and I will buy those almost every time because I very much enjoy that's such a broad nib. I very much enjoy my shading, the different colors, and the what is it called? My brain just quit. The chroma shading. I enjoy that so much. Okay, number 15. Let's see. We'll just go ahead and finish using out these other nibs that are these other pens that I have put away. The ones that I rolled over. So, brand names or custom made pens. This is a tough one because I have come to absolutely adore custom made pens. There are a few brands that I definitely seek out. I have more pens from them than probably the only maker pen that I have more of would be TWSBI. But I do have probably I should go through and look and see all my maker pens versus my brand name pens. There are maker brands that I much prefer over any brand name pen. Myers Pen Co. and Walltown are my two go-tos. Although Jonathan Brooks this pen is like amazing. The softness of it feels so beautiful. I have so many maker pens. I'm gonna go with maker pens because I do prefer that I can get something that's unique to me. And I mean, maybe not, because, you know, I know 100 other people have this golden abalone blank, but do they have it in Jonathan Brooks's model, or do they have a different maker? Do they have it in the satin? Do they have it in, this is a convert, so this pen actually can become a ballpoint pen. Right now I do have a monarch nib on it, but it can become a ballpoint pen. So I mean, you know, there might be a handful of people with this exact pen. That's what I like about my maker pens. And then you get into some of the makers that will go even further. Because most will just do, you know, they have their blank. And while this pen looks like it was made out of several different parts, this pen is one blank. So the blank actually looked like this. So this clear part has sparkles in it, was up the top. You can see a little bit of it right there. And they cut it down. So it started with the black and went into gray and up to the blue and then up to the clear. So they cut the clear part off and made the grip section out of that. And so somebody else could have kept the clear part as their cap. So, you know, while this looks like it was a bunch of different, you know, parts put together, it was actually just one blank. But then you have Walltown, who will take a blank and one of his rods, which are these with the sparkles, he pours these himself and matches them to the blank that you're looking for to give you an almost one-of-kind, unless somebody else says, hey, I like that pen, can you make me something exactly like it? It's still going to be different because the blank, their blank is not going to look like my blank. So it's still going to be unique, but I love the opportunity to be able to have this pen that nobody else really has. Now, he did make this. This is one of his designs. So there are other pens out there that look just like this. But again, they don't have this blank, so the colorway is going to look different. And I mean, how fun is that pen? So fun, so unique. So I definitely am going to go with maker pens. As much as I love my Leonardos and my other pens, I do enjoy a good maker pen. Okay, 16. Limited edition or standard edition. And I feel like this really goes back to the maker pen question, because you're going to get these very unique pens every time. None of them will ever be the same. And you could say that about, you know, these maker pens right here, or any other, or these brand name pens right here, or any other, because they're always going to have some sort of variation. I mean, even in a pen that is, you know, mostly clear, The variation on the rainbow here is going to be different with every pen. If you're going to do a limited edition, it needs to be a limited edition. You need to make a run of it, make however many pens you're going to make, and then it's done. And that needs to be the only run of it. But I also feel like if you're going to call a pen limited edition, then the blank should be limited as well. And maybe, you know, maybe you disagree with that, but that is just me. If you're going to call a pen a limited edition. So I feel like, I'm pretty sure this was like a limited edition Leonardo pen, but they have come out with it several times. I have a little bit of a problem with that. You create this FOMO, this fear of missing out on a pen, by calling it a limited edition pen, but then you launch it again and again, and it just feeds that fear of missing out. And I have a problem with that. If you're going to make a pen limited edition, if you intend to relaunch it, say, this is a limited run. I think Karina Loves to Plan, her pen that they came out with, I think that one is like the perfect example of this, because they did, or she did, made the, when it got ready to launch, she did say that this was a limited run with the hopes of re-releasing it, right? So I think that's the perfect way to put, instead of to say, this is a limited edition pen, you're only going to get it once, it's only going to be here, you know, for so long, you get it while you can. And then they relaunch it and relaunch it and relaunch it. Hers is also a very unique pour in the blanks, as they are not readily accessible for other makers to make that pen. So I think that pen, to me, is the best way of considering an actual limited edition pen. They may come out with another run. She has mentioned a few times that I think that they are considering it, or they're working on it or something. But, you know, there were so many made, and that's what you've got. But, you know, maybe we'll be able to run it again. But then you have, you know, pens like this that are a brand exclusive or a company exclusive that Leonardo has ran for them. And I don't know. To me, it was listed as a limited edition. And yes, it's limited, but I think they've restocked 3 or 4 times at this point. And they do keep making them because they're popular. That's fine, but don't call it a limited edition and then keep calling it a limited edition. Does that make sense? Do I sound like a total brat? I just am I feed off of that FOMO. If you tell me something is no longer going to be available, I'm probably going to buy it, because whether I like it or not, because I don't want to miss out on it. I don't want it to be something that I absolutely love and then miss it, right? So I'm going to say I prefer standard pens, because I don't like the FOMO that limited editions create. After I give you that long, oh, I didn't mean to write with this one again. It's okay. I love this pen. I adore it. I'm not mad about that pen at all. I just don't feel like it should be oh, you better buy this pen because it's never going to come back in stock, and then they re-release it, right? right? I just think that that's just not, that's not, people work really hard for their money. And, you know, you're not forced to, but when you're a collector, you like to be in this hobby, having things that are your style, this is my style, you know, this is my Grail pen. And I have pens that cost triple this. But this is the pen that makes my heart just sing. I adore this pen. If you guys saw my unboxing of it, you will know. But that pen is everything to me. And it's not limited. And anybody else can go say, hey, Brett, I want to get this pen made. This is what it looks like. And he'll make it for you. But it's still unique to me because the blank is different. So I think that's enough limited for me. Now I'm still going to be like, I want to buy all the limited editions, even though they make me upset, stress me out. All right, let's move on. Sorry. New or used pens. If I can get a deal, I'll take a deal. I don't care to use somebody's used pen as long as it's well taken care of. I'm going to put either because I love that Monarch nib. It's so nice. I love this nib so much. That's why I decided I wanted to put it in this pen, because I don't have another Jonathan Brooks pen. And this one is just so nice. I don't know. It's unique, right? So it's a unique pen. It's the only one I have that's just actually made from him. I have a lot of his blanks, but I feel like it's fully unique, you know? So I love this pen, but that's why I have my Monarch on it. I think it's going to be a permanent pairing. I think it's a good pairing. So new, used, either, because I don't care as long as the pen is well taken care of and you disclose how it's been taken care of. You know, I don't want to get a pen that's broken or cracked or damaged in any way. Disclose your issues. I would disclose mine. If there's a problem with the nib or a problem with the feed or something like that, just disclose it. But yes, I will buy a used pen all day, every day if I can get a deal on it. 100%. Okay, demonstrators or non-demonstrators. Oh, this one. So I only own TWSBIs for these. I had 3 or 4 580s and I had like 30 TWSBIs at one point. And I absolutely love them, right? They're beautiful. I don't use them anymore. I keep this one inked up and then I throw one in the rotation every now and then. I do enjoy my iris that is inked right now because I had that one tuned at the Atlanta Pen Show. It did write really bad, but now I love it. But really, I don't know that I like demonstrator pens so much anymore. I love being able to see the ink, and I don't know that you can really see this one because it coats, all the shimmer coats the inside of it, but it's more than halfway gone. The ink's about down to here right now. And it was completely full, and I adore this ink. And if you know TWSBIs, you know these pens don't evaporate. Not really. I don't know that I've ever had one evaporate, but man, do they stain. Like, you would not believe. There, you can kind of see where it's moving. But yeah, they stain so badly sometimes. And it's the ink, you know, I mean, everything can stain. So I'm going to say non. As funny as it sounds that I really do like a demonstrator pen, I really get anxiety when I have to clean one because they never come fully clean, right? The backfills always have a little bit of residue. So I'm going to go with no, not anymore. I do like these pens and I will use them. I love the nib on this one. It's so beautiful. But I will use them for my shimmer inks and to have fun. I have no other reason to put ink in a TWSBI other than it to be shimmery and pretty. So yeah, I'm going to use it for that, but I don't know. Pen and ink matching. I don't care. I do kind of want things, if I intend to use an ink and a pen, so you know, like if I were pulling out this pen and also pulling out this pen and I wanted to use the green ink, I'm going to put the green ink in this one just because it is closer to it. It matches it a little more. That, yes, I'm going to do that. But if I'm, like this pen right here currently has this ink in it and they do not match at all. It currently has this Diatramentis. It doesn't match at all. And I'm okay with it. I've been writing with it. I love it. Beautiful pair. Works great. So it doesn't matter to me. But yeah, I mean, I will match them. So if I have a lot of new pens, you know, I tend to try to ink them up for the month. But, you know, I wanted to do a review on this pen, the new Niblet. So I inked it up for August. I did choose an ink that sort of matched it just for funsies because I hadn't used that ink yet and I wanted to give it a shot. But generally I will choose my inks and then I will choose a pen to go with it. So if I'm wanting to use a shimmer ink, obviously I'm not going to put them in one of my extra fine, ultra, you know, small feed nibs because I know it's not going to flow well, right? But I will, or my gold nibs. I don't put shimmer in these just because I don't want to. I don't really have a need to. I throw them in my Yovos because I have so many of them. But I think that's kind of the way that my brain works, is that it really doesn't matter. I'll put any ink in any pen. But I do like to have it look nice, and when I pick up a pen like this one, I wanted to write with this pen so bad, and then I wanted to roll it over because it's gorgeous. Last one, number 20, vintage or modern. I like modern pens. I do enjoy pens that look, I feel like this one kind of is more like a vintage look. The black and the classic gold and the pinstriping. To me, it looks like, you know, a nice older style. That's just how this pen looks to me. It's beautiful. I like it, but I want super bold, super flashy, sparkles, and fun. So most vintage pens don't offer that. At least not right now. So, you know, when I'm older and we're calling these pens vintage, then I'm gonna like vintage pens. But for right now, I enjoy modern. Modern pens. I think that's it, right? Let's zoom out. These are all of my, oh, can't see the bottom one. There we go. These are all of my 20 pen preferences as of right now. So thank you, Lau, for coming up with this. It's a great little challenge. I very much enjoy doing things like this, and I don't know. I say I'm not creative, but I know I am. It's just coming up with the ideas of things like this. I love doing like the 8 pen questions, 8 more pen questions, things like that. I love answering stuff like this. And I think it's mainly because I enjoy hearing everyone else's answers, right? So that's just fun for me to hear what your preferences are. So please leave your preferences down in the comments. I would love to know how you feel about these questions. If you are so inclined to leave them down in the comments below, or do your own video. All the questions are over on Lau's channel. Like I said, I will link his below. I'll also link his video so you can go watch his answers and respond back to him as well if you'd like. So I think that's it. This was so much fun. I enjoyed it very much. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.